it was a very interesting thing to encounter this greater spiritual reality in the Law of One, which answered so many questions I'd had throughout my life and explained by 96 why for the last 4 years I kept constantly seeing these repeating numbers on clocks everywhere. I mean, it was just getting to be crazy. So this is not something that happens to everybody, but it's a very common way in which, again, the universe will teach you that it is a conscious hologram. Now, one of the things that the Law of One has taught us that has created no lack of incredible anger and madness and fear and pain. I was just seeing it again with Mike's video, the one I put up on the eon of brightness there. Take those words, put them in the opposite direction. You know what I'm doing. Anyway, wow. Some of the comments on my latest video on Mike's thing are incredibly aggressive and incredibly nasty. And it kind of made me wonder, did Jesus say anything other than what's in the Bible? Did Jesus ever speak more than the words that are attributed to him in the Bible? Well, obviously, yes, right? Obviously, yes. There's a lot more that would have actually been said. There was a lot more going on than we think. And the Law of One just blows the lid off of the whole thing by saying, wait a minute, everybody. Jesus is not just some spiritual figure who came to earth in order to be loved by people. Jesus was actually a very interesting and special thing where the mind of our galaxy embodied into human form. And that's not common. That doesn't usually happen, apparently. So the name in the Law of One that they use for the galaxy is Logos. And in Greek, that also means word. So Logos, word, these terms are all interchangeable. And this raises some interesting ideas. Jesus says in the book of John, it wasn't by Jesus, but the book of John at the beginning says, in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. So in the beginning there was the Logos, and the Logos was God, and the Logos was with God. That's how you could actually read that in the original Aramaic and Greek. In the beginning there was the Logos, and the Logos was God, so that's God the Father, and the Logos was with God, that's God the Son. So God the Son, in the Law of One terms, is literally the mind of our galaxy, which is the Logos. It is the cosmic creator that designed these 22 archetypes, a pattern of soul evolution, a blueprint, if you will, that we're all apparently supposed to be following here. So it's very interesting to see how all this happens because the Logos had to do this through a very specific process. I got to go back to the... So Jesus didn't just have it guaranteed when he showed up as a human being that his mission would work. This is important. This is one of the things the Law of One tells us. That Jesus actually had to fulfill a contract with God the Father through his own free will. And it was through his own diligent spiritual work, through the purification of his personality, that he thus was able to embody the Logos. Okay? What they're saying is that Jesus achieved something, going back to the slide, called personality transparency. And so by doing this in Law of One terms, when Jesus achieved personality transparency, that means he became the Logos. So here is a passage, this is passage 74-11, where they're talking about personality transparency. So what you're going to see here, just so that you're not running into this, because sometimes I go too fast, and I apologize if I do. Somebody said he saw Bigfoot in Salford. It made a sound that I would not want to hear twice in my life. Did the Logos walk in at the baptism of Jesus? Yes, you got it. That was Mist Fae Feminist Soul Wisdom. I think I got that. Or Famous Soul. I'm sorry if I blew your name. I really am. I truly am sorry about that. But anyway, personality transparency is where you do the work to clear yourself, essentially, like they said, for your personality to merge with the Logos so that it's transparent, meaning that who you were before you became the Logos isn't really there anymore. Isn't that interesting? So this involves the discipline of the personality. In order to get your personality to become transparent, you must first discipline the personality. This is critical, the personality discipline. So then they're going to tell you that there's three main things. So again, if you want to become more like Jesus, if that's something that appeals to you, and I know it does to me, I think a lot of us want to be more spiritual, and that appears to be the whole point of all the things that are happening in the world right now. How does the Law of One, which again is a Christian source, they profess the divinity of Christ. There's no question about this whatsoever. It's all over the place. So all these people who are so upset saying, oh my God, Law of One, Law of One, look, they are very happy about Christianity. And what they did is to come in and give us some updates that we really, really needed to help understand what's going on. So how would you reach, according to Law of One, how would you reach the personality transparency that somebody like Jesus got? Well, they say there's three parts to it. Are you ready for this? The first part is to know yourself. And let's just stop there because it's a three-part formula, and I've already shown you all three parts. But again, know yourself. Now, what does this really mean? Well, this is one of the reasons why they advocate meditation so much, is that knowing yourself is about really taking the time to understand who you are and how you got to be the way you are. And so there's a lot of stuff in the Law of One about the importance of reflecting on your past. And they say there's only two things that can exponentially increase your spiritual growth. Reflect upon your past for how it informs the present, and then seek the love in this moment. Each additional seeking of love in the moment exponentially increases the power you have in the present. Each additional memory from your past that you remember exponentially increases your personal power. The appropriate Law of One way to view trauma as it's happening in your life now is to analogize it with all other traumas that feel the same. If you had someone else in the past hurt you in the same way that you're being hurt now, are you going to behave the same way, or are you going to do something different? And this is a question that we all need to ask ourselves. Do we decide to be abused? Are we willing to accept tyranny? If you found yourself in a horrific situation like Johnny Depp was having, both of them were having, can you get out of that situation? And I would hope the answer is yes, but this is what's happening on a global level. Whether you have personal experience with psychopaths, narcissists, dysfunctional relationships or not, at this point it doesn't even seem to matter, because now the real point is we're all in this together. We're going through a very, very nasty breakup with a partner who wants to kill themselves rather than let go of control. And this, again, is one of the things I studied academically in college. Has absolutely nothing to do with my own recent divorce. We were harmonious. That was fine. It's not like Johnny Depp at all. Please don't make those analogies if anybody did. All I'm saying is there are a lot of people out there suffering in the world, and although my divorce was harmonious, what's happening in the world right now is a very non-harmonious divorce, a very violent, a very chaotic, a very nasty, fight to the death, take all your money, leave you for dead type of situation. That's what we're looking at. It's terrifying. But again, this is intended to knock you out of your comfort zone. So knowing yourself is knowing your experience. Having the mastery of your past experiences so that when a new situation comes up, well, this feels familiar to me. So if you've been through abusive relationships, if you've had people abusing you, if you've been treated unfairly, if you've been treated unkindly, if you've had a lot of bad things happen to you, now you understand what these people are. You understand what you're seeing in the world. You understand they will never tell you the truth. And they will never be nice to you. You cannot comply your way out of tyranny. You can't. The more that you give them what they want, the more they will ask for. And this is what I studied in college. This is the psychodynamics of this type of personality. They actually have physiological damage in their brain. There's 7 different areas of the brain required to process empathy, and these people don't have them. And it's a very sad thing when you see examples of it in intimate relationships, and it's even more outrageous when you see what appears to be an organized global structure created by people with this exact disability, where not only do they not like other people, but they want to see them eliminated. And that is the highest goal that this type of altered psyche can have. They really do want to knife you in the back, leave you for dead. That's their highest aspiration. Life didn't work out for them. They don't like being alive. They don't like other people. They're pissed off about everything. And so they want to punish life. They want to punish life forms. And the more innocent and defenseless that life form is, then the more they're going to enjoy the sadism. It's very important that all of us understand that these people are real, that they're serious, they're dead serious about what they want to do, they're running with the ball, and they're being stopped. And again, all of this is part of a consciousness hologram. So knowing yourself in the threefold discipline of personality we're discussing would also involve knowing where you are right now and understanding that the most brutal deviants are now apparently the ones that have created this structure, and they're being opposed. So the second part is, first part is know yourself. The second part is accept yourself. And this again is incredibly important. Self-acceptance, as I've always said, is the bullseye. You can get really, really locked up in very elaborate esoteric metaphysics. You can get all tied up in this set of data, and we have a quote about this coming up in a minute. And you can get very confused. You can get very confused by all the information, and I see many, many people here being information junkies and being mad at me if I'm not giving you the kind of presentation that you think you want to have. I'm asking you to get real with yourself. I'm asking you to dig deep inside and ask yourself, is this thing that we're seeing in the world really safe and positive, or is it evil and negative? What do you really believe? Do you really believe this is the end of the world? Do you really believe we're all going to die? Do you really believe that there's no hope, that nukes are going to go off, that the economy is going to collapse, that all these terrible things are happening and are going to happen? I don't. I genuinely don't. And it's because I have unconventional sources of information that are giving me very interesting insights into what's going on. So know yourself and then accept yourself. Self-acceptance is so difficult. It seems like it would be easy, but it really isn't. We are always prone to want to take the negative opinions of others as sacrosanct and to denigrate ourselves if others are denigrating us. It takes a lot of discipline to accept yourself regardless of what others think. In other words, self-acceptance is not conditional upon getting other people to like you first. It's just the opposite. You have to create a loving space in your own life for that loving space to be filled by others. And that's what I've been working on myself. So going back to the slide again, becoming the creator is the third step. And this is something that people have a real hard time with. Okay, this is not like traditional religion at all. Become the creator. Well, yeah, what does Jesus say in John 14:12? You want to go look that up for a minute if you're angry about this? Jesus said, as I do these things, meaning the Jesus miracles, so shall ye do these things, and greater things, for I go unto my Father, Mother, God. Because the original word in Aramaic means father, mother. It's not just father. It's non-gendered. For I go unto my Father God, you will do greater things than me, says Jesus. You will do greater things than me. That doesn't even seem possible, does it? It's like, wow, how could that even be possible? But yet, that's what we're dealing with. So when you get to this stage of self-acceptance and becoming the creator, you achieve this thing called personality transparency. So they say, the third step is that step which, when accomplished, renders one the most humble servant of all, transparent in personality, and completely able to know and accept other selves. So this is very interesting because what we're seeing here, again, is this concept of personality transparency which applies directly to Jesus. And Jesus, again, in the Law of One, several places, they say he became the Logos. That's what personality transparency is. Ultimately, in Law of One terms, all of us are here to reunify with cosmic consciousness, to go back to our oneness in the cosmos.